Hello everybody, and it's Dirk again, and today we're going to talk about observation towers and sniper towers. These are old school concepts that we used in ASE. I've just converted them over to work with the new building mechanics that we have in ASA so that you can make these builds. Some of the things we're going to be using this are going to build off of different tips and tricks that we've used in our previous videos. So if you have any questions on that, feel free to reference back and I'll show you how to do that in those other videos. For those who are unfamiliar with this, essentially it's an elevated sniper space that has a narrow gap, making it hard to shoot in, but still allowing you to shoot out at your targets while in the prone position, which, you know, when you're in the prone, you have a much steadier shot than you do when you're in the crouched or the standing position. And since we don't have a hold your breath button for steady aim, you know, this is basically what you got. So I'm going to show you how to build this. In my towers, I have rocket doors, because you can't shoot a rocket through the gap, even though you can shoot a gun. You can't shoot rockets, you can't shoot arrows. So if you want to use those, then I put in this nifty door in the event that you would need to shoot such a thing out. Just be careful with the doors, because anybody who's got good experience with rockets, the rockets fire from a bit off your shoulder, so you want to make sure you're only using the front side of those doors. So we're going to start with how to make these observation towers. The observation tower is a pretty simple thing. It's a simple 1x1. I've got a ladder on the door to keep you from getting sniped when you go in and out of it. I have a bed in case it's a location you just want to spawn into instead of running across the field. You spawn in, you run up to the top, and you can look out and see. So if you hear your dinos going crazy or turrets going off, you have a place you can pop out and look. You're fully bulletproof in this location, just like my previous video where we talked about using ladders to bulletproof your doors and make this. However, for this particular build, to keep people from using this to, say, hide from your turrets, we've got some barriers. If you notice, I cannot walk through these walls, whereas a normal regular ladder we could. There's a few ways to accomplish this. I'll demonstrate them all real quick. This is the one I chose. It's kind of the easiest. The only downside with using these for observation is if you use a spyglass, you cannot actually get a name. So you cannot see a name. You have to know what you're looking at. You can see someone come in, but you won't be able to spyglass them, get their name, unfortunately. So there's a couple ways we can make these. As you can see, ladders, we know we can walk through those. So if I just leave this, someone with a pteranodon, they could barrel roll their way right inside and use this to get into your base or get into at least the tower, hide from turrets, etc. So we want to prevent that. So the difference between it and just putting some ladders on is you need to put a barricade. In this case, I use the skinny pillar. If you're doing this decoratively, you're trying to just make a screen room or something, you could use this without the pillars, and it's a cleaner look. Everything's kind of flat and it's just kind of a prettier look all the way around to use that. However, you can crouch and still get in and out. If that's what you're looking for, you can do that. But it's a clean look. All you do is use a quarter wall, so you have a sank pillar that's only a quarter wall tall, and that gives you a snap point to bring your pillar across the side. You put your ladders in first, And then once your ladders are in, you can just snap and you're done. This is the more secure way. I think it's probably my preferred way. You use your double door frames, put those all the way around. And then if you look here, what I've done is I've used railings. Now, you want to use the railings last. So what you want to do for this is build your ladder first, and you want to do your left and right ladder snaps off of your quarter panel ceiling. Just like that. Now, I'll get a ladder a snap here. However, if you do that, you're going to find that your railing won't snap because they use the same snap location. So the easiest way to get around that is go ahead and do your rail one up and then do one down. Just flip it with your E key on PC. That'll flip it for you. Now you can't fit because I've cut down the gap. And then if you just look at the door frame, there's your ladder snap. Now you have a bulletproof viewing room that you cannot get in and out of from the outside. There's another way we can do that is with pillars. Pillars, the fat pillars, not the skinny pillars, will give you actually 3 snap points. So I've got my left snap point, my right snap point, and my center all off the pillar. This lets me use a single ceiling. So if you wanted to put a hatch frame on the roof, you totally could do that with this, and it still lets you do the bulletproofing, and you can follow that up with your railings. All of that works the same, and now we have the same bulletproofing. The problem you'll get with this is it's got this much bigger gap because it's snapped to the pillar, so it's going to push this gap out. It does give them some angles inside for people who are very careful and just dead set on trying to get at you. And it looks a little bit messier than the others, but it'll still work. And if you need that center space to be open, it's a very useful thing to do. This one is done with pillars on top of walls, double door frames, and this one is all pillars, and they both work the same. So that gives you your down and dirty. That's a really simple way to build this, and it gives you a place to spot. It does let you pop out and see what's going on outside in safety. So that's kind of a big deal to me. It's something I find useful. And it's just a little thing you can do. Now this is our basic sniper tower. I just made a little 2x1. It'll do everything you need to do with it. Gives you a fully functional sniper tower, a little storage, a little spawn space. You got your gaps. I'll show you how to do this one real quick. To do this, what you need is that jig that we did in my very first video. Because what we want to do is have this snap point, and for our sniper gap or our gun port, we want this higher snap point, just the next one up. That's the 1/6 height. So the first thing I'm going to do is get this jig, which I suggest just leaving one of these by your base. Somewhere in it, just put a 1x1, leave it here. It's all fully supported to itself, and it lets you build this anytime you want. So any new projects, you can do this without having to redo anything, and it's all still on grid. So go ahead and snap out 3 foundations. Ground level is going to shrink me by 1/2. See, it sinks it there. So we're going to go ahead and take that sink. We'll bring it over to here. I want it facing out, let's say that direction. And we'll go ahead and bring it out here onto the beach. Say right there. That's good. So that's our base foundation height. See there? So then, now I've done that. Remember, I've got this all tied in, so all of these heights have foundational support to the same foundations, which is one of the advantages of doing it this way. As long as you've got that tie-in, you can build this and save yourself a lot of hassle, a lot of headache. So we'll just go through, do the exact same thing I did before. Now I need to bring it down a half because the game automatically dropped us a half back here. So to do that, I'm going to go ahead and use my quarter walls to give me a half out down. This is low enough now that I can just snap a foundation off of those walls. And now I have a foundation that is that 1/6 height. And that'll be our gun port. So we're going to go ahead and stop one short of my 2x1 building because I don't want to snap it into the hole yet. And I don't need any of this anymore. You can do this prior to building it. You can do it during building. It doesn't really matter. I'm just going to go ahead and park these here right now. Now I'm ready to go ahead and get started. So to start out, we'll go ahead and put 3 walls up. Then I'll bring up my height there. Now I'm going to come off the sides of this because of the lovely ability to snap off of walls sideways. One of my favorite things that they allow. That's going to be the full height of my structure. Now that I've done that, I can go ahead and bring in my higher foundation and remove my old one because I don't need it anymore. Aesthetically, this looks better this way. You don't necessarily have to do it this way. I like it because it makes it easier to build because I don't get as many confusing snap points because I'm playing with the ceiling heights. So go ahead and get my rail down. Got my foundations all clad. Put my entryway in. Now this is important because this is what makes the whole thing work. The back wall is going to snap off the high foundation while the entire rest of the structure is snapped off the front. So we're going to go ahead and bring up my wall. Up the back side, just making sure that I'm snapped on the proper snap points so it's a little bit higher, as you can see right there. And you just snap those 3 up. That's going to be the ceiling of my structure and give me my gun port. So now that that's all done, we'll go ahead and get our ramp. Get a hatch frame on top so I can get up there, and a ladder coming down. We're going to climb up. And now I want to bring down my roof structure. If you look over there, I'm going to bring down my roof structure. So again, regular ceiling tile up, another ramp down, just like that. Slope wall on either side. Oh, there we go. Too close, can't see myself. So at this point, I have my gun port. The thing you got to keep in mind is the bigger the port is, the more exposed you are. However, the bigger the port is, the closer you can see to the base of your tower. If you're building this behind your turret wall in your own base, you don't really need to be able to see at the base of the tower. This is really about sniping people that are draining turrets, getting them off their dinos, etc. from range. So we're going to close the gap up to maximize our survivability. So I'm going to go a fat pillar across the top on all 3. Now I've tightened my gap up significantly. I can actually do this even better by doing the skinny tile, or the skinny pillar, I'm sorry, across the bottom. Now I've got a much harder to see gap from the outside. This gives you my sniper gap. You just go up and down. We can see everything else that we need to see. I do have some annoying gaps in here which are easily sealed. You just double pillar it. So put a fat pillar on the ceiling and then a fat pillar on the top of the wall. Do that on both sides. I've now sealed the gap. I'm perfectly safe inside. And that's the extent of it. Put whatever you need to put inside, and you've got yourself a secure sniper tower. You can use this, incorporate it into your walls and base defense behind your turret walls. You can use this as part of a fob. I did kind of a down and dirty little fob over here. That was just a kind of a concept thing. Little airlock. Come in. Quick airlock in, a bunch of spawns. Come up to the top. So we've got our sniper support up high. And then an observation deck on the top level so that we can see what's going on around us. Call out anything that we might need to. That's it. It's a pretty straightforward process. All of these structures are pretty easy. If there's anything that you would like to see in the future, or something in here like this little fob base, how I managed to do that, it's the same concepts. I don't think I need to build it, but if people ask, I will. We'll see you guys next video. Thank you for watching.